NAV erosion, value dropping, and margin called. Chasing these high yield dividend payers could be putting your account in peril, so let's dive right in. I'm Isaiah, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the dangers of investing all your money and enabling margin into these high yielding dividend payers. So if you like this content, help me out. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Also, if you're interested in learning about selling options, make sure you check the link out below to Fiverr. And let's chat, let's grow together, and let's dive right in. Okay, I'm looking at the dividend history of MSTY, Misty, the big dog, everyone's favorite. Look at that dividend yield over the last 5 months. 419, 442. Then we dropped down to 308, 227, and then last month, 202. What happens when that continues to drop? When that yield drops below 2, then below 1, then below 50? What's going to happen to the value of the stock? Are the yield-backed funds going to alternate, make changes, or are they just going to drop MSTY out of the fund itself? What happens? So before we go any farther and look at the next stock, I do want to interject real quick. I do own some YMAX funds, but the purpose of this video is not to scare you. It's to provide alternative terms of investing to generate income, preferably selling options. But nonetheless, let's jump into the next high-yield dividend payer, kind of show the dividend yield going down. Okay, looking at Tesla, everyone's favorite that follows Tesla here. Back in November, 122 a share, then to 128 in December, then way down to 71 cents in January, 57 cents in February. What's going to happen in March? Are we going to get down to 40 cents? You know, the yields are dropping, and that's scary. And what I want to call to action is I'm worried a lot of investors are following YouTubers that are margining and putting tons of money into these funds, and they probably honestly have other accounts or other funds available that they're not super worried. But I'm really calling out to beginning investors here, don't chase high yields. At the end of this video, after I look at one more high yielder in the drop in dividend, I'm going to talk about selling options where you can generate income with less risk and less money. So let's jump into one more dividend yielder. We're going to look at MRNY, Moderna. So the dividend yield has fallen, but not as significantly as the others. 40 cents down to the 20s. But what I want to call on this one, the value of the stock price was around $5 and some change just a couple weeks ago. Now it's at $3.79. Is this going to continue to drop? What's going to happen? Is it going to get moved out of the funds? Anyone that has that margin highly invested in companies like this, they put themselves at risk of overextending because they're so excited for these yields that they're gaining. And again, I don't want to scare any investors. I'm just trying to get you to have alternate approaches to investing. It's okay to own these funds. Like I said, I have some YMAX, mostly for the purpose of a study to see if it can outpace selling options, which it can't. But I have it in there, and I don't want anyone to think that they can't own it. I just want you to kind of add some other alternative investing methods to your repertoire. So let's jump into my Robinhood account. So I'm going to give you one example here of how selling options will generate more income with using way less. So for example, for my experiment, I have $8,000 in YMAX, and it roughly gets me around $60 a week, which is less than 1%. It's not making any moves, and I have a ton invested in there. So now let's look at Wolf, W-U-L-F. I sold a $4 put on Friday for a $3.21 expiration, so 1 month out, which is essentially a dividend. You get paid once a month on it. And it costs $4 a contract, every option. For those that are unaware, you have to have 100 shares is a contract. So whatever the share price is, $4, you multiply that by 100. So $400 for 100 shares. And because I am willing to buy Wolf for $4 at March 21st, I am collecting, you see right there, $36. That's the credit limit. Now $35.96 after fees, but let's just say 36. So let's go to 36 in our handy dandy divided by 400. That is 9%. So let's see, just for our example, 8,000, what we have in YMAX, times 9% would collect us $720. So if we would put that same $8,000 into Wolf for 1 month, we would collect $720 over 60 times 4, $240. So almost $500 more. But we don't have to put near that much money into one play because you can spread it out. And I'm going to jump back over to Robinhood. On Friday, I had 32 contracts expiring. Let's look at what we have open. Look at all this, just generating us premiums. We are selling puts, we're selling calls. And this week, I am going to do an intro video on what it means to do both. I know I touch on them in every video, but I really want to do a walkthrough specifically on what it means and how to sell a put and what it means and how to sell a covered call. So anyway, I'm going to keep scrolling down. Look at all these options open. All these. That's what we do on this channel. We generate income. We invest in today. We're not trying to retire 30 years from now. We're trying to retire this year. We want to achieve that financial freedom. And I believe, in my personal opinion, not financial advice, the best way to do that is to sell options. Let's generate income. We don't care whether the stock goes up or down. Volatility is our friend. But if you like this video and you like this type of content where we're talking about selling options, help me out by leaving a like, a comment, subscribe, so we can all grow together. And I'm going to say one more thing before we go. I know I've kind of harped on YMAX and those funds, and I don't want to deter you from investing in them. Everybody has a strategy, and you should stick to the strategy that works for you. I just want you to know that there are other options out there, and I wanted to give you my personal opinion on investing so much in high dividend yields and the risk that comes with it. But like I said, I'll see you in the next one.